Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday the 31st of March. India launches Mega 8 plan Operation Brahma for earthquake hit Myanmar. Doctor turned leader, how Mehrang Baloch has become Pakistan's nightmare. And Muslims across South Asia mark Eid with prayers. And now for all the details. India has dispatched 157 tons of humanitarian aid to Myanmar following a devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake, which has claimed over 1,600 lives. Under Operation Brahma, India's NDRF team is conducting rescue efforts at affected sites, including a major Buddhist monastery, while Navy ships and medical teams are providing further assistance. A report.
India has dispatched a total of 157 tons of humanitarian aid to Myanmar, where the death toll from a 7.7 magnitude earthquake that occurred on Friday has crossed 1,600 and is expected to climb further. Under Operation Brahma, India's National Disaster Response Force team has begun rescue operations at the Yula Thein Monastery, where around 170 monks are still stuck. A team of the Indian Army visited the hospital site a day ago and will set up their medical services today, a note from the Ministry of External Affairs said. The MEA said that efforts were on to get the NDRF team deployed at the Sky Villa, where 4 towers each with 11 stories have collapsed, reportedly with several foreigners in them. Teams from India are also going to be distributing relief among 2,000 monks stranded outside the Yula Thein Monastery. Indian Navy ships Satpura and Savitri from the Eastern Naval Command had sailed for Yangon on March 29. The earthquake that struck Myanmar was the most powerful to hit the country in over a century, with a magnitude of 7.7. It was followed by a series of aftershocks, including a 6.7 magnitude tremor, which continued to rattle the region throughout the weekend.
And we bring to you the story of a woman who has become the face of defiance against Pakistan's oppression, Dr. Mehrang Baloch, a fearless leader, a relentless activist, and a beacon of hope for Balochistan's struggle for freedom. A report.
In the heart of Balochistan, one name is rising above the rest. Mehrang Baloch, an influential activist, a voice for the oppressed, and a symbol of resistance. But the question arises, who is Mehrang Baloch? Why is she becoming such a powerful figure in the ongoing struggle for Balochistan's independence? Mehrang Baloch is a leader of the Baloch Youth Committee, known as the Baloch Yakjehati Committee. Recognized by Time magazine as one of the 100 next emerging leaders, Mehrang has become a voice for the voiceless, advocating for the autonomy of a region long marginalized by the Pakistani state. Born into a prominent Baloch family with a legacy of political activism, Baloch has witnessed her family endure persecution in Pakistan's nationalist movement. The abductions of both her father and brother played a significant role in shaping her transition from medicine into a prominent political and activist figure, advocating for the rights of the Baloch people. Driven by personal experience, she now champions the rights of the Baloch people, speaking out against human rights violations and military crackdowns in her homeland. Her influence extends beyond Balochistan as she amplifies the Baloch cause on international platforms. Mehrang's advocacy has united Baloch communities worldwide, shedding light on a conflict that Pakistan has long sought to keep in the shadows.
Balochistan! Free, free! Balochistan! Free, Dr. Maran Baloch is actually the undisputed leader of Balochistan currently. Dr. Maran is someone who the Baloch nation fully supports.
As her prominence grows, so do the fears of the Pakistani government. They see her as a destabilizing force, one whose message of Baloch independence could ignite a larger rebellion. Fearing her influence, Pakistani authorities recently arrested Mehrang Baloch during a protest against the atrocities faced by the Baloch community. Given Pakistan's history of enforced disappearances of Baloch activists, many fear for her safety and question whether she will ever return. As of the latest reports, she remains in Pakistani custody. Despite the pressure, intimidation and constant threats, Mehrang Baloch remains undeterred. For the people of Balochistan, she is not just a leader, she is a beacon of hope.
She is not only a person who is struggling for her people, but she is a hope. She is a beacon of hope for the Baloch people.
As the struggle for Balochistan's freedom continues, Dr. Mehrang Baloch stands at the forefront, challenging not only Pakistan but also the world to take notice. Her voice, her fight and her vision for an independent Balochistan could very well shape the future of the region.
Meanwhile, Baloch activists held a campaign in Geneva this past weekend against Pakistan's atrocities in Balochistan and called for urgent global intervention. A report.
Scores of activists from the Baloch National Movement staged a protest in front of the UNHRC office in Geneva this past weekend to protest against alleged war crimes committed by Pakistan in Balochistan. The demonstration saw impassioned speeches by activists who condemned human rights violations and enforced disappearances in the region. The protesters raised slogans demanding freedom for Balochistan, an end to extrajudicial killings and release of prominent activists, including Dr. Mehrang and Samideen Baloch. They reaffirmed their commitment to a peaceful struggle for Balochistan's liberation and vowed to escalate their lobbying efforts with international organizations, including the United Nations and human rights bodies. Meanwhile, BNM's Manzoor Baloch also apprised the UNHRC about the Baloch crisis and urged immediate intervention.
Inside Balochistan, countless families have been displaced due to military operation, enforced disappearances, and widespread violence. These IDPs live in dire conditions without proper access, food, shelter, and health care. We urge this Council to call on the UNHCR to recognize Baloch refugees, conduct a mission to Balochistan, and take immediate action to address the need of displaced people.
Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus is under fire for failing to live up to his anti-corruption promises, with reports of his advisors misusing public resources and fast-tracking approvals for businesses linked to him. Critics are now questioning his commitment to transparency and accountability. A report.
In less than 7 months, Bangladesh's chief advisor, Muhammad Yunus, faces scrutiny over unfulfilled anti-corruption promises. An article by Anjuman-e-Islam in Eurasia Review highlights contradictions in Yunus's administration, including advisors misusing taxpayer-funded vehicles and attempts to cover up the violations. According to the article, despite his anti-corruption stance, Yunus swiftly approved business ventures linked to him, including a 5-year tax exemption for Grameen Bank and a controversial tax waiver of BDT 666 crore for Grameen Kalyan. Additionally, his government-approved Grameen University, allegedly benefiting his associates. Concerns have also emerged over the rapid dismissal of cases against workers from his former organizations. These cases, filed before August 5, were swiftly dismissed without public explanation, raising further doubts about the integrity of Yunus's administration, as cited in the article by Eurasia Review. What began as an ambitious reform agenda, driven by promises of a corruption-free Bangladesh, now risks descending into a scandal-ridden administration.
Moving on, devout Muslims across South Asia celebrated Eid ul-Fitr by offering prayers at mosques on Monday. The festival marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, during which Muslims observe intense prayers and fasting during the day for an entire month. Muslims in India gathered at the iconic Jama Masjid in New Delhi and the Taj Mahal in Agra for the special Eid prayer. Eid ul-Fitr is celebrated on the 1st of the month of Shawwal, the 10th month in the Islamic calendar, with prayers, family visits and feasts, often featuring a lavish spread of traditional delicacies.
ईद का जो त्यौहार है पूरी दुनिया के अंदर मनाया जाता है। समझे ईद का अर्थ जो है खुशियाँ बांटने का है, खुशियाँ देने का है, एक दूसरे में आपस में सौहार्द का जो है माहौल देने और लेने के लिए है। अपने से छोटों के ऊपर शफकत का हाथ फेरा जाता है, अपने से जो बड़े हैं उनका अदब एहतराम करा जाता है।
In neighboring Pakistan, thousands gathered at mosques and open spaces, including the railway ground in Karachi, where worshippers took part in mass congregational prayers. Pakistan, a predominantly Muslim country where more than 90% of its 240 million population practice Islam, has declared a 3-day holiday for Eid ul-Fitr until 2nd of April.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ईद की नमाज़ पढ़ी, हमने सुकून के साथ अदायगी की। नमाज़ पढ़ के हम बाहर निकले हैं। अब बच्चों के लिए थोड़ी सी बाहर की खुशियाँ दिखाएं, बच्चों को बैलून वगैरह दिलाएं। ईद का मौका है, बच्चों की खुशी है, ईद का त्यौहार है। आप भी मनाएं, हम भी मनाएं, सब मनाएं, खुशी का दिन है।
Meanwhile, the courtyards of Nepali Kashmir Jama Mosque in Kathmandu were also filled with devotees as they gathered for Eid prayers. The Islamic festival holds deep significance in promoting love, charity, social solidarity and spiritual devotion. The tradition of fostering stronger bonds between communities has made the celebration even more meaningful. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.